do everything I have to do within the guidelines to make this county second to none. It's going to be a lot of hard work. You've heard all of us say it's going to be a lot of work. But I'm not afraid of work. I don't enjoy sitting around on the couch or sitting at a desk. I'm going to be out there talking to you people, getting the job done, listen to your concerns, and that's what it boils down to. Being able to have an open ear and listen to the people that paid for you to be in that sheriff's office. Because what it boils down to, short, sweet, and simple, you're my boss. I have to listen to you. If I don't, you're going to fire me. It may take 4 years, the election or something, but I have to make sure the job is done. So I feel I'm the best candidate for the job. I've got a lot of experience in bookkeeping, management, running businesses, working with guards, a platoon leader in Vietnam. I've got the experience, and that's why I feel I'm going to make the candidate to be the best for the people of this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Skip. Mr. Canterbury.
Yeah, I'm running because I really feel that I can make a difference in this county. And I've got the schooling, granted, I've been in the bail bonding and as a law enforcement for the last almost 30 years. But it's not about me. This job's about us, you, the people, and us, the Sheriff's Department. This job is combining our efforts with your efforts together. And we can make the Sheriff's Department the best it can be. But it's got to be between all of us. Our deputies, it's good people, they work hard, and the people, we need to pull it back together and get the community involvement again with the Sheriff's Department. We need each other. And I don't belong, I'm an independent, I don't belong to any political party. I pay my own bill, my own campaign, I don't ask people for money. And because at the end of this election, if I get elected, and when I get elected, I have nobody except you people that voted me in. That's what elections are about. We don't owe political parties. We don't owe political baggage. We owe the people of this community, and that's what I would do with you. I'm going to make mistakes. Granted, I'll make some mistakes, but let me tell you, I will stand up, I'll admit to them, I'll correct them, and we'll go forward. There's one thing about me, if I get elected in this sheriff, I will give you, I promise you, I will give you 100% of what I can do to make this sheriff's department better and for this community.
Thank you very much. Mr. Cooper.
I'd like to ask you to repeat the question, please.
I just put it away. What distinguishes you from the other candidates, and why should we vote for you?
Okay. I've lived my entire adult life in Fremont County. I moved here when I was 16 years old. I've raised my family here. I worked several jobs before I got into law enforcement. Law enforcement for me was my calling. I started out as a road officer, working midnight shift. I worked midnight shift probably 3/4 of my career with Canyon City. But I learned early on that if I wanted to better my community, better myself, and better the individuals I worked with, that I had to advance through those ranks so that I could make those changes. Because as a line officer, you get very little influence on anybody but the person you're dealing with at that moment. As a sergeant, you get a little bit more. As a captain, you get a little bit more. As a deputy chief, now you're influencing things, you're making policy recommendations, you're dealing with city council, you're dealing with different governmental agencies, and you're working for the betterment of your community and the organization to which you serve. Because that's what this job is for me, is service. I was not going to throw my hat in the ring for the office of sheriff. I took a long 3 days with my wife to sort that out. And I came to the conclusion that I needed to do that. And the reason I did is because I want to continue to serve this community. I want to continue to build a better place for my sons, my grandchildren to come and live, which I hope they will one of these days. But as far as what separates me from the other candidates that are sitting up here, is I've been a law enforcement professional for over 30 years. I've been in a law enforcement supervisory and administrative position for over 10 years. I'm a graduate of the FBI's National Academy of Leadership Training. I've taught leadership training for the Central Mountain Training Foundation. I've mentored a lot of officers that are, some are here today that have gone on to do better things. They're sheriffs, they're sergeants, some of them are lead detectives in other states. And so leadership is not something that's foreign to me. Is that my time?
Yep. Want to say goodbye in 10 seconds? 5 seconds? Never mind, thank you. Well, now it's my pleasure to say I want to thank you all so much for coming this evening.
I got a question. Can we get like 2 or 3 minutes to close out?
That was it.
That was it?
That was it.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to ask the audience if they have any last questions?
I will in a moment, Chief. Thank you very much. Are there any last-minute questions from the audience? I see a hand. Please stand. Go ahead. Speak into the microphone.
I guess this one is for all three. Will you allow deputies to work other jobs such as the state fair and
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I've tried working with the different law enforcement agency heads to increase what we pay deputies and officers now on what we call an off-duty work program. The Office of Sheriff has to structure it a little bit differently because deputies are paid Social Security, whereas municipal police officers generally are not. So the language of some of those contracts changes. But I'll tell you how short-handed Canyon City Police Department is we gave back over $6,000 to a contractor that we have because I didn't have staff to fill those off-duty work positions. So absolutely.
Okay, Skip?
I do not have a problem with it. I think anytime, I used to work as a law enforcement, I remember my check was $500 a month. And that's way down there compared to what it is now. But yes, anything, I believe the Fremont County deputies, I saw them at the state fair this year. They were out there working. I don't have a problem with it. If they, on their off-duty time, they want to make some extra money. You know, we all know they need extra money. They need money because the pay is so low. So, yeah, I don't have a problem with it, none at all.
Okay. Boyd?
Yeah. I just say up straight, I don't have a problem with it at all. As long as it doesn't interfere with working for the sheriff's department on your days off. I feel like that you should be able to work, make that extra cash, because I know what you're making and it's not that much. So, yeah, you could definitely work.
Okay, thank you very much. So, before I was so rudely interrupted.
Go ahead.
It's okay, Chief, you're the big dog here, so if you have another question,
I'm
please
just
go
a concern-
ahead.
I'm just a concerned Fremont County resident.
Absolutely.
In the election in a few weeks. I just wanted to clarify something, just because one of the candidates made a comment on this, but Colorado Revised State Statute 1625-102, certification of police officer. The following must be certified by the post board, chief of police, police officer, a sheriff, and under sheriff, a deputy sheriff. So there's some misnomer there when something was read. But I just got to make a statement. Whoever wins in November, just remember, there's only 4 major law enforcement agencies in Fremont County besides DOC, which is a big factor here, and they offset us, BOP. The ones who are on the street every day are 4. Please don't create an island. Teamwork. CERT worked beyond belief. That gentleman in the middle was in charge of it. It worked. He made sure it worked when he was in there. Something happened along the way. I'm not going to get into it, but all I'm asking you guys is teamwork, working together. Criminals have no boundaries. They don't know, oh, I'm not going to go into Florence today. There's a line that says they can't come into Florence and commit a crime. They have no boundaries, and we shouldn't. And by Colorado state statute, as long as a police officer, and I can read it, does his job under 102 of that same statute, he doesn't have a boundary. As long as he's working under the color of the law and he's doing his job. There's no boundaries, and that's what we got to remember here. All 3 of you, whoever gets in, we have to work together. Today's day and age, Mr. Cooper's been in 30 plus years. This is my 42nd year.
Wow.
The laws have changed so much. I feel bad for these new kids coming on, because you know, unfortunately they change. It's changing quicker and quicker every year, and it's tough. And I'm on the downside, not the upside. So I give them all the respect who stays in it. It's hard to get the policemen we need. So please, that's all I'm asking, is remember those couple things if you make sheriff in this next election. That's what I'm asking. And my officers too.
Thank you, Chief. And I'd like to say also that it's been a pleasure to moderate both this forum, and also the one that was done in Canyon City a few weeks ago. And I want to congratulate all three of our candidates for such a fantastic campaign that they have been conducting, and we wish them all the best of luck. I want to thank you all again for coming tonight. I'm not done yet, so don't be leaving. This is more than just coming out to hear some people talk on a lousy night. But thank God we got the moisture, because we needed it so much, whether it was white or water. And Tallahassee got 3 inches of snow this morning, and we had our first Winter Wonderland day. So I would like to, again, to thank you all, and remember this, that in the grand scheme of things, you may think this is just a little ripple in a little pond. But when you multiply what's happening here this evening in vetting our future sheriff candidates and our future sheriff that's going to be running this office, this is very important, and this is one of the foundation blocks of what America is. We treasure the rule of law and protect the right of free speech and free expression. We empower women as pillars of our society and of our success, and we put faith in family, not government, and bureaucracy at the center of our lives. And above all, we value the dignity of every human life, protect the rights of every person, and share the hope of every soul to live in freedom. This is who we are, and these are the priceless things that bind us together. We are Americans. Thank you again for coming tonight. It's been a joy and a pleasure and an honor to be your moderator. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you again.